Luna Milo, sweet, fierce, with dark visions of death. She only trusts Cyril, her blue hummingbird guardian angel. Lola, a black street hustling tranny. And Blackjack, the corpse of her soldier father who appears to her in sleep and wake. She uses all of her powers to defend her mother Giselle, a heroin addict and prostitute, from the scumbags that torment them. Boy, they're in for a big surprise. Stoned and honed, Giselle prayed to the bone jackals, who prayed with loud cackles in a high tone, while she slid and crammed the blunt force slam. Damn! She remained unfettered in tethered pain, and contained bane within her stay, to never stray from the slaps of the lay. And this, just one day. Bloody moon pie eyes and silently cries for her mother Giselle, who seeks anguished hell, because she reeks of lame game to lure deceived sympathy and ensure vanquished dignity. Her deluded strategy, a pure tragedy, masters liquid candy inspiration, so far from Luna's dedication to battle against the pinning and straddle that rattle her from the core. They call her a little whore, and she swore no more. She recites the verses that give her the strength to fight versus de-essence violators and flower annihilators. She acquiesces to the heartbreak of yet another furious take for the sadistic scene of the overwhelming mean. She endures and yearns. The lure calls for gore. She learns, she lures, and burns all. Hush, said the mush head. He led the lush gush of red. In a rush, he fled. Blitz skills, nails the will, prick still, pick stick that kills. Sick thrills filled with chills. Perilous trespass, the crass morass that lasts. Alas, for the lass. Drip, drop, bounds to the top and back down, always stews in the middle, and convulsive stutter, sting rumination, and illumination of the colonic ring elimination that leads to the resurrection and the grave inspiration of the deadly initiation. After she wakes from the stunning trance of the fatal dance, she stumbles on her true romance, the necromancer who fancies her with a gift of rancor, a soul drifter set to reign the slain. This sublime celestial mortal, slowly dying in the claustrophobic portal, a black effluence mire that begets the ire and fires Luna's lust for the furious gust of the gore from the sore, and after a while, she just wants more. So, she plans and lures them to the puff of the honey snuff stuff, but it's never enough. From the jerk, her heart spasm forms the blue-winged phantasm berserk of thrash that sharpens the vigorous steel clash, arterial gash of saving her soul, for it rives in the smash with human trash, and she falls deeply in the hole of the awful no, and she begs no, and her voice lowers no. She's worn, torn, and now reborn into a thorn full of fatal scorn. Moonbeam's vision toss her on a mission to slide inside herself, get lost, and recite the mantra of still Zen cones and dense suffering moans, sanction that she blows in the throes of nonsensical woes of action. The sting grease gushes soppy before 5 years old, when mommy injected the poppy, rushing, numbing, thumbing milk in silk, skin so cold. Hush marrow forging, her rage gorging, and she becomes bold. Her name, Luna Milo, so weak, so meek, she innocently sees herself a hero, But the sleaze tell her she's a zero unless she gets on her knees to please. Oh, please release me from this disease. A piece of melted butter, moon wishes a relief, but she incessantly swoons in stir and slumber. The fear so high, she goes away, she wants to die. Her scars so deep, her spirit asunder. In theme, the vile pedophile sadistically scheme and offer her the frame of pain to tame and rein the blows of rotten flesh that crack bones and spark the heat that shreds the meat. She learns in her eternal burn, the perpetual yearn churns her to spawn the harm before she's gone. From the charred, condemned church steeple, stories told with no people to provide facts. Only articulated disavows for the vile, blasphemous acts that the purveyors of misery manipulated for the medicine-induced sheep who repeat such horrid transgression without a peep of confession. Those who endure forever cure into the slum of perdition, no line to paradise, no permission or remission to slightly touching rapture, wretched living souls in the perpetual capture. This but one voice who still hears and lives with the fear of the inner forces that tune the symphony and create all the magnificent dancing corpses. Within the innards of each erection, every single container of the dreadful creation, the sounds of life and death in the same flesh capturing the ejaculation, the roars of the meager, the humble, who whiff of the strife, eager to please for the everlasting release. The gruff snorts of the terror's face confirms the anathema of the inhuman race. The hysterical thuds of the permanent horrid interactions with the factions and daft actions of ravenous essence, shaft extractions. The sadistic cackles of the alley jackals reverberate through the death valley, and we're not even close to the finale. Deep inside the mausoleum embedded subterranean maze that leads straight to the everlasting blaze. The desperate eyes of a succulent teenage sugar between the filthy sheets in a dark vestibule with needle, spoon, and leash. It's a quick rap that seals the innocent soul, and her baby blues forever lose their glow. Fresh darlings vanish into the stupor of a perpetual twisted state of grace. Human hyenas emerge from the glooms to vanquish the flesh. Their chops pop marionette-like flaccid frames and grind the bones into the fatal rooms of unaccompanied doom. Within the wild shop of horrors, up in flames, a bird scants down into the cesspool streets, bursting with the scenery of sleazy-cured peddlers who provide the spines filled with the juice of slow demise to capture the minds. Those who snort the lines, buying time, ready to slay at the drop of a dime. The bane chasm of the slum is the flawless scenery of ferocious coitus, tranquilizers, and dirty scum. Thus, the place where the human beef corpses slumber and scuff on the numbing stuff, preparing for the slaughter, and it's gonna be rough. In an endless state of shock, most are jammed within the narrow scope and lost hope. Cemented in their gone minds, they never opened their eyes to find that the door to the cage of ghastly ache is slightly agape. The dumb-witted bliss and how to get more dope and less hope in the tempest reality within the constant haze of shit and piss. In between, squeezing some government cheese, food stamps, but the priority, a Kool-Aid inoculation for the permanent intoxication. Often, the most heinous acts are derived from praise submission and expressed by the hunters with not a hint of contrition. It's all the doing of the man with the plan to keep the sheep deep in the eternal sleep.